Are you selling sex in here?
No.
No. What are you doing?
No.
Is somebody forcing you to do this? Who are you working for?
Puedes entrar.
Before slamming the door in our face, this woman welcomed our undercover investigator. Former officer turned private investigator John Rohde was posing as a prospective customer to show how prevalent prostitution and suspected sex trafficking is in our own backyard.
You come to a hotel with your family, you have no idea what's happening right across the hallway from your hotel room. Because where there's prostitution, there's narcotics, there's assaults, there's stabbings, there's shootings.
After being given a price for sex, Rohde left the room saying he needed to go to an ATM, opening the door for us to speak to these women.
Are you selling sex in here?
No.
Are you being forced to do this?
No.
Are you being held here against your own will?
No.
What are you doing in here?
We're just chilling.
You're just chilling. You're naked.
Okay, I'm chilling.
Why did you invite him in?
Because he wanted the massage.
You were going to do that naked for him?
Yeah.
In a hotel room?
Yes, can I put a shirt on?
None of the women we encountered told us that they were being forced to sell their bodies, but Rohde says it is rare for trafficking victims to admit what's going on. He did notice what he called red flags in this case.
She's obviously under some type of narcotics, slurred speech, very, very slow responding back to questions.
The women we encountered were of all ages and ethnicities. One thing they had in common: online ads right out in the open.
It seems that majority of the women that advertise don't really seem any fear of law enforcement because they're just so wide open on their text messages, so wide open on their conversations, so wide open sending pictures of the room with them in the room. It doesn't seem like they're concerned about being arrested.
As we began answering those ads for this investigation, woman after woman told us that they were at this same Quality Inn near Palm Beach International. That afternoon, there were at least 6 at this one property. Then, just making small talk with a guest in the hall, our investigator was solicited again when the woman offered up her roommate for an encounter. Even after we left,
just nonstop.
More text messages came in from different women at that same hotel.
To me, it's kind of hard to believe that you could have this many women working in one hotel, getting the room by themselves, and no red flag should be going off.
So we went straight to the Quality Inn's general manager.
We're the crew that was here on Friday from CBS 12. We need to talk to you about issues at your hotel.
Well, I can't right now. I'm busy right now.
He wouldn't look at our video or answer our questions.
And people are going to see this. They're going to see 5, 6 women who are here offering to sell themselves for sex.
This is a private property. You guys need to leave.
There's no right or wrong way, just any red, white, and blue ribbon. You good? Go ahead and cut it. We've probably done, I'd say probably over 50. Yeah. There's 2 there, and then she wants one on hers. Some people are using like the red, white, and blue bows, the ribbon, streamers. He was doing a U-turn, and another motorcycle was coming at a high rate of speed and hit his motorcycle, and it just ended in a tragic way, and everybody in the community will miss seeing him around, and talking with him and everything. And I knew he was a mailman, and I would see him because I got a lawn service here in town, and I'd see him while I was out mowing, and I'd always smile and wave at him, and he was just a great guy. The stories that I've gathered from everybody, I haven't heard nothing bad about him. I just wanted to do something special for him, and I said, well, I think if we did red, white, and blue ribbons on the mailboxes, that would mean a lot to the family. I just know that he was loved and cared for by a lot of people in the community. For Halloween one year, his son had dressed up like a mailman because he wanted to be just like his father. Belglade is more of a loving community. When stuff like this happens, everybody comes together. I just wanted to do something special, because he was a great guy.
Let me pump the tires up real quick.
Activity started. Afternoon exercise tracked in his Runkeeper app. Zachary McCoy never thought a spin around the neighborhood could take such a turn.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable.
Activity completed. Months after a ride he'd completely forgotten, Zach got an email from Google warning that law enforcement requested location information from his phone, which was stored on their servers. The notice also contained a case number, which turned out to be a felony burglary investigation being conducted by Gainesville police. Expensive jewelry stolen from a house Zach passed by on his bike. Now, out of the blue, his cell phone location data made him a suspect.
I was, really confused, to say the least. Confused, but also scared.
Scared and having no idea what to do, Zach hired defense attorney Caleb Kenyon, who had never seen a warrant like this in his entire career.
But as soon as I realized, this is a search warrant that a judge signed off on, it was pretty clear that this was an overreach.
Gainesville police were using what's called a geofence warrant. Police place a virtual perimeter around a crime scene and determine a window of time during which they believe the crime occurred. They then ask a judge to sign a warrant like this one, asking Google for cell phone location data that fits those parameters. That nets detectives a list of phone numbers and potential suspects. Kenyon says it's a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment requirement for probable cause in obtaining a warrant.
The problem with geofence warrants is that they don't have what's called that particularity that's required. It's essentially a broad, sweeping general warrant of the judge says, okay, law enforcement, you can get anyone and everyone that is in any proximity to the crime scene.
Zach's warrant got thrown out by the judge and he was in the clear, but he still had to pay a price.
The money I had to get from my parents to cover the criminal defense attorney was more than the jewelry that was stolen from the house.
Gainesville police declined an interview, and to this day, no arrests have been made in that case. But in other cases, geofencing has put dangerous people behind bars.
Tell me what's going on. You said you were bleeding?
Oh.
That's the voice of Mitchell Jones, stabbed in his home in Cobb County, Georgia. He died shortly after making this 911 call.
Where are you at in the house?
Help. The police are here.
But his last words gave police important clues, an exact time and place for the geofence warrant. One of the 5 cell phone numbers Google provided belonged to Dante Holmes. County prosecutor Jesse Evans tells the I-Team after police confronted Holmes with the cell phone evidence, he confessed to Jones' murder.
Before I started kindergarten, I was always told that you don't talk about what happens at home.
Growing up, nearly every adult in Savannah Parview's life let her down.
But I didn't really know that it wasn't normal because I didn't really have friends. I didn't hang out with anybody. So I didn't really know what a normal child's life was like.
She says her mother was addicted to drugs and turned to prostitution to support her habit. When Savannah was 11 years old, her mother traded her for $10 worth of crack, and her drug dealer became Savannah's sex trafficker.
It became to where they would make arrangements with her where they would come and pick me up, or they would be at the bus stop when I got home from school. And it was like I never knew when I was going home, how long I would be there.
She says she was taken to hotels all over Orlando several times each week.
I would stare at like a spot on the wall and focus on that. And so it was kind of like it wasn't happening to me, like emotionally.
Looking back, she says there's no way hotel staff didn't know what was going on.
They knew what was happening.
How do you know that they knew?
Because my trafficker would make arrangements with the hotel staff to let people in and out of the room so that he didn't have to stay there.
So hotel workers would physically see you?
Yeah.
A child?
Yeah.
And they were letting men into the room?
Yep.
There's been a long policy of, see nothing, say nothing in hotels.
Mike Morgan represents more than 500 victims of human trafficking. His firm is suing major hotel chains across the country because, according to New York University research, 90% of child sex trafficking occurs in hotels. Lawsuits against hotels in 12 states, including Florida, argue the industry knew or should have known about the abuse happening behind their doors, and their failure to take action allowed the abuse to spread. Worse, the lawsuits allege they were profiting from it. Quote, hotels have chosen to ignore the open and obvious presence of sex trafficking on their properties, enjoying the profit from rooms rented for this explicit and apparent purpose.
They put vacancy over decency, right? That their number one job in hotels has always been to fill rooms. And really they haven't cared enough in the past to care who was in it or who was paying for it or who was, possibly being victimized.
The industry has accepted we play a pivotal role in stopping human trafficking, so let's do this because it's the right thing.
Chip Rogers is the head of the American Hotel and Lodging Association, which hosted a No Room for Trafficking summit at the Fontainebleau in Miami Beach ahead of Super Bowl 54.
We know we can do better.
Hotel owners, law enforcement, and the Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody were all there to compare notes on what can be done to stop these crimes.
Very, very scarily easy.
Bianca Lewis was just 11 years old when she hacked into the Florida Secretary of State website. She was competing against dozens of other kids at a hacking conference in 2018. Lewis not only got into the Florida website, she was able to change the results on the reporting page in a matter of minutes.
10-15 minutes.
Wow. And you smile, but it is concerning.
Very, very, very concerning, yes. That's scary that if one kid with no background experience can easily hack it in less than 15 minutes, then imagine what another team from another country with all the resources and knowledge in the world can do.
The Mueller report on Russian election interference suggests foreign hackers were able to access at least one Florida county election system. Investigative journalist Bob Woodward claimed in a recent book 2 county systems were hit, including St. Lucie.
If it's a computer, it can be hacked.
Counter-cyberterrorism expert Zohar Panasi.
The fact that they gained access to the platform, that means the world.
Panasi believes the best way to fend off future cyber attacks is for the entire state to share one election system.
The problem is that every county and city and state chooses their systems. The solution at the end of the day is to unify everything.
He says a single universal system is easier to fortify with multiple firewalls and layers of protection. Right now, every county is on its own and has to compete for federal dollars to make their local systems more secure.
Thank you, Supervisor.
And as Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections Wendy Link told county commissioners, cyber attacks are on the rise.
In terms of your firewalls, are you detecting, hackers trying to get into the system?
We are. It's already big, right? So we are working. In fact,
how sophisticated are they on it?
Well, we're stopping them.
And that's not the only concern. On Election Day, the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections Office and dozens of others across the Sunshine State will be transmitting their voting results on machines cybersecurity experts call vulnerable and dangerous.
So these are our DS200s.
The DS200 is one of the most commonly used voting machines in the state. In our area, they're used in Palm Beach, Martin, and Indian River counties.
I think that we're well prepared.
Indian River County IT Supervisor David Cruz has full faith in the DS200 voting machines. Others in his field do not. 4 voting integrity groups and 24 computer science experts sent this letter to Florida's Secretary of State in September. It urges Florida elections officials to disable one of the DS200's key components, wireless modems that transmit election results over the internet. These systems are visible on the internet to potential attackers, the letter states, warning the voting machine's internet connections are vulnerabilities which could allow hackers to change reported results, adding there could be false reports from devices impersonating precinct voting machines. Does that modem have any opportunity to be hacked?
That's a good question. When you say any opportunity to be hacked, nothing is unhackable given enough time, money, and resources. For me to say that everything's 100% protected, I couldn't say that. But we are confident that with ES&S and the state and our cybersecurity navigators that we are ready for the general election.
Cruz's confidence comes from the layers of redundancy available to cross-check election results at the end of the night. He showed us this paper log the election machine creates, keeping track of every function and ballot cast. He says while it does transmit results wirelessly, the data is encrypted and the server it sends to is secure. If a hacker were able to manipulate vote totals, the elections office always has paper ballots which can be recounted to double-check the numbers. And he says they conduct post-election audits to account for every vote.
We don't just rely on the DS200 saying, you know, this is your results. There's multiple cross-checks that go into it.
It's honestly better to do it old-fashioned.
Bianca Lewis, now 13, is designing her own election system with security the top priority. And for someone who is so good with technology, her advice is to rely on less of it.
One big thing is that everybody thinks that it's better if we go online. Let's do online voting. Let's do machines and technology. Honestly, it's better with just pen and paper.
On the eve of the election, she thinks back to the way she was able to crack the system 2 years ago.
Since it was an exact copy of the Florida system, if they haven't changed it from what I was able to hack, good luck.